Hello, my name is Gabriel Ndaikan of the Charity Medical Foundation and International Trade Incorporated. Today, the topic of my presentation will be the power of unity, and I also will be tackling the issue of global health, environmental health, using critical and system thinking theories, as well as glometricology. Without further ado, I would like to say guten Tag, guten Morgen, good morning, good evening to certain people around the world. Bonjour, bonsoir, uh, ni hao to some of the listener in far end of Asia. For peace, I would like to say shalom, salam. Este Gabriel Dicon, and bonjour, no, and thank you, Senor, Senorita, Senora, for listening to my presentation. And you are all buenos dias. Welcome. Now, let's start this. I have made a couple presentation before, and I presented clearing my throat the presentation of Glometricology, which is a new science that studies metaphysics and the infinite intelligence, the absolute power, and the maximum energy that actually derive from the intelligence of the cosmos, the divine intelligence, the vibrational forces that make the universe. My inspiration comes straight from above, as I do have access to both worlds. I have access to the supernatural world, and I have access to the natural world where people can see me pretty much. This is not sorcery, or this is not a fake mystical theology that I use to change what is already existing. What I'm bringing here is pretty much the clarity of the new world. When I say new world, I'm not talking about the world order. I'm talking about a new world, the world that God is implementing. I say again, the word that God is implementing. So it is up to people to realize that the Bible that we have is a fundamental, crucial essence that derive from the infinite intelligence, the cosmic intelligence, the divine intelligence to lead the world in any aspect of our life. But if you start integrating every single portion of the Bible, you will understand that there is many aspects that come up that need to be known in order to understand certain random phenomena, certain spiritual phenomena, certain supernatural phenomena that are not well understood just by reading the Holy Book, or either the Quran or either the Torah. any other holy book from Hinduism or Buddhism. The power of unity. In the beginning, it was one. Let me drink a little bit of my free toxins tea. The point here is to elaborate the connectivity, the correlation between our Creator and the God of peace, the God of acceptance, the God that can come for you when you need, the God your provider, the God your healer, the God the righteousness, God of peace, the God that sanctifies, changing your way into the principle, standard, and law put in place by the Trinity and proven by Jesus Christ. The law, the God of love and protection, the God, your shepherd, leading the sheep, people that are lost, uh, that which identify us, all of us, the one that is everywhere, omnipotent, omnipresent, and that is the source of everything. That is the portion that have a very crucial impact on the power of unity, and which indeed help to rebuke any negative force, to rebuke Luciferic attacks in families, between friends, for power mongers, for sorcerers, for jealous, for people lacking compassion, from people lacking love, from people lacking grace, people lacking acceptance, people lacking inclusive collaboration and communication. Then I can well state that I'm speaking to you today not because I am a master or I am a guru, not because I am a prophet, because I am not. I am a simple 35-year-old person who went to many difficulties and challenges and start learning from it and build up a spiritual wealth that derive me to an integration to the unknown world, the unseen world, with optical vision, but seen through spiritual vision. All right. It is very important when God implemented the Trinity. It was not for a joke, because he knew that when you united, you're more stronger and powerful. Let me define the cosmic numbers that represent one. God is the Alpha and the Omega, which mean the A and the Z. There's not any other alphabet other than that. So he is everything before, everything in between, and everything after. as well as numbers, because everything in the supernatural world is determined as numbers, numerology, numbers. All of those from A to Z, from alpha to omega, represent number that range from 1 to 9. Those are also the basic number that represent the foundation of all calculation, either in physics or either in mathematics or either in chemistry or either in any other knowledge that you have out there. 1 to 9. There's not any other number. Everything derived from those 9. The same thing as everything is interpreted and derived from alpha to omega, which means A to Z. And even if you use Chinese or Japanese, everybody still have to interpret it using A to Z. So God represents number 1. What is number 1? Number 1 in heaven, in numerology, catalog, and library, represent unity, represent power, represent the universe, represent organization, and represent action. Represent action. In the beginning, in Genesis, it is said, God created the heaven and earth. That is action. But let me be very clear. The heaven was created before the cosmos. The heaven do not constitute or do not depend on the law of the cosmos. They are not only in a different dimension, but they are in a different cosmic dimension. This is a new form of research I'm working on. They are in a different cosmic dimension. Let me repeat again. They are in a cosmic different dimension. It means our cosmos have a certain structure and mechanisms that can be observed. Planets come orbit around the stars. The stars are generated from dust that are composed of different particles with all the elements that you can even imagine. And those particles, using the divine intelligence, the cosmic intelligence, and the infinite intelligence, start forming stars, start engineering stars. And those are asteroids in form of dust in a distance. So when that power, that invisible power, through optical telescope, that is invisible, but through a different form of telescope, you can see that energy, which is like a form of light, that bring those particles together and start forming the stars within that dust. And when those stars are formed, you see the dust surrounding, orbiting the star, and start forming the planets. That is a consecutive law that represents the structure and mechanism that form the cosmos. So now all cosmic dimension form the universe. It means the cosmic dimension in which God is, the heaven are a part of the entire universe, because they form one. It's controlled by one. So you have those stars. If you are in a dimension of heaven looking up the cosmos, you will only see stars. You only see like shining light in the distance, like a series of dots that are shining. You're not even going to be able to see the planet turning around it, but you're going to see a series of stars, only stars. It's pretty much like somebody looking up a gene in the human body. You're looking up the gene, you have a microscope, and you start looking up the atoms, the nucleus, and the protons and electrons that form the atoms. And you cannot see it visually unless you start having atoms forming, coming together, and start forming molecules. Every molecules, you can see molecules together unless those molecules start coming together, start forming a visible organs, start forming a cell, and those cells now will start forming, compacted together, start forming tissues. The tissue now compacted together start forming an organ. An organ now will be what's seen. And when you start putting those organs together, you have a structure mechanism, human mechanism called the human body. So if you translate that again into the universe, the stars that you will see represent the nucleus. They are very small. So in their multiplication, the way the body functions, the cells are regenerating itself in time. And how are the cells regenerating themselves? By creating new nucleus. Those new nucleus will have electrons turning around it, start forming atoms, and atoms coming together forming molecules, the molecules coming together forming a visible cell. The same thing is the same principle that is applied to the cosmos. The cosmos is regenerating itself, replicating itself by creating stars over stars with planets turning around like the nucleus and the electrons. The evolutionists that are out there, they try to prove that everything happened from a perspective in which it can be explained by human made. My point is, since they start talking about it, why people have never asked them to put their theory in action. I mean, put the theory in action. Take a frog and see how you will develop. Put those frog or whatever in the same condition as you've been explaining, and see how they're gonna grow, becoming a human being. We can simulate things. We have technology and science. We have to be able to realize that the knowledge of God in a 7-dimensional level is so powerful and so immense that we don't even have a fraction of it. I mean, we don't even have the fraction of a fraction of a fraction of a fraction in infinity of it. Then it will be very hard for people to explain it, unless you leave this earth and go to that dimension. That's where you're going to learn a lot of stuff. You're going to learn the origin of the universe. You're going to learn even who is God, who is Jesus Christ, who are those things that were very uncertain to you, didn't know about. They're going to explain to you. They're going to tell you that. But you have to be very understandable and comprehensible that there is a force out there that are forming that cosmic structure that we see, and God is in control of that force, all the elements that form it. He's the one who generated it. Because let me go back to the divine vision that was given. Heaven was created. Heaven do not depend on a star and a planet turning around. So God is not in a planet that turns around a star. The heavens are not around a planet that turns around a star. That's the reason why they are not in our cosmic dimension, but they are part of the universe. The heavens are fixed satellite. It means fixed planet, if I can call it like that. They don't turn around nothing. They fix. And if you can explain the way a satellite, a human satellite is out there, can be put fixed and be moved around, you cannot tell me that what I'm saying is wrong. So if it's fixed, it means you have to take up that rotational law. And plus, there is no day and light. There is no night there. There's only days, which support the point of being fixed. Now, where do the light come from? Well, let's say this. Genesis say let be light. If a person, you see a car out there, it's because somebody made it, engineered it. You see a bottle of wine out there, it's because somebody made it. You see a glass of tea, it's because somebody made it. I'm using a computer, it's because somebody made it. So how are you gonna see planets and yourself, and don't you deny that somebody made it? It made itself. I don't comprehend it. So the point is, it's fixed. They are fixed satellite that have the size twice the size of Earth, even more than twice the size of Earth. Fixed satellite. Pretty much build houses like a big house. You see like something that is actually surrounded with gates, like yeah, with a surrounded with bricks and contours, like a compartment, like a big compartment that have a size twice the size of Earth. Expanded in air, like the satellite that we have. If you can explain how the satellite that we made and put it fixed over there, and can have it fixed in one position and maybe move it in a different position the way we want it to be, so that we can see, it means that it is also possible for God to do that. So now people will be asking, how do they have light all over the place if they're not turning somewhere? Well, if Earth was not turning around, or any planet was not turning around any sun, what will happen will be that only one area will have days forever, and other area will have night forever. But in heaven, they are the source of light, and the light they have is different from the light, is even stronger and powerful than the light of the sun. What do I mean is, they are the source of light. It means God can actually hold the sun with his hand without being burned. Just the story of Daniel with those three guys, where they were telling you that the fire was very strong, but when God appeared, that fire was nothing to him. An example of what I'm just saying. So they are, if God say in Genesis, let be light, you cannot say let be light if you're not the source of light. So the light is coming from him, not to him, because he's the source of light. That's the reason why the entire heavens are all composed of light everywhere, in any area that you see light. It's not the kind of light we have here. It's a different kind of light. It's the light of the Holy Spirit. The light that you see, you cannot see through eyes, but only through visual eyes, spiritual eyes. But the most brighter light, powerful, even brighter, but can be soft than the power of the light that come up from the sun, from stars. Brighter light. So they are the source of light. And they're there. They live in a different cosmic dimension, but they are part of the universe. Their dimension do not depend on the structural mechanism that formulate our cosmic dimension. That is the reason why they do not depend on time. We depend on time because Earth turns around something. When something turns around something, it will depend on time. Let me explain why. Something that is fixed do not really depend on time. They don't worry about time. But something that moves depend on time. Earth rotate around the sun through what? A movement of rotation within itself. 23 hours and 59 minutes. In the 24th hour, he revolutionized one day around the sun. He does that movement of rotation within itself 365 times, which represent 365 movement of revolution, which represent 365 days, which represent 23 hours and 59 minutes, because the 60th minute will represent the 24th hour, which is one day. But you look up heaven, the heavens are there, they're fixed. They don't depend on time. So the point here is that the power of unity. God created the Trinity to show us an example that when you unify, evil cannot come in. When you are unified, evil cannot come in. Let me define the Trinity. God, the Bible said, the Holy Books says, all the books, even in Hinduism, we talk about the heaven and hell. Even Buddhism, we talk about the heaven and hell and all this. The Trinity, either Judaism, either Christianity, either Islam, the Trinity, God is the Father. What does that mean? It means God is equal to himself and also equal to his own function as the source and the origin of everything. God the Son, what does that mean? It means the Son is equal to God in his being, but different from God in his function. God, the Holy Spirit. What does that mean? The Holy Spirit is equal to God in his being, but different from God in his function, as well as playing the role of connecting God the Father and God the Son, which formulate a triangle, which is a Trinity, the most powerful bond of all time, difficult to break. Now, let me explain to you why unity is important. God will never be part of anything that don't have unity, which means peace, which means order. Where there is fight, where there is quarrel, where there is lack of love, where there is lack of compassion, where there is angers, where there is lack of inclusion, where there is lack of comprehensible love, when there is lack of collaboration and acceptance, God is not part of it. And people are always wondering, why do I'm praying and it's not responding? It's because we're missing that peace. God is a God. Let me go back to the beginning here. God is a God of unity. He represents unity. He likes unity. You have a partner. You have a partner. You are having quarrel. You are having misunderstanding. You don't want to sit down and find common ground. God is not there. And that is the tool that Lucifer is using. Because he knows when God is not there, you are distancing yourself from God by disputing. Even if you pray, unless you fix that problem of unity, you see the full presence of God. If you don't fix the problem of unity, he will not be around. He will be there, but distance, which give opportunity to Lucifer to do his work, to continue to generate problems within people, and people having problems. That's why it's better to be united. But you must have unity with the common purpose, with a purpose that serve not only your ego, but also serve the benefit of everyone included, of everyone who's part of it. It's very important. It's very essential. Well, I would like folks to see the life of Rome's, of the popes. When things happen, it does happen for a reason. When people who are wise change the course of their life despite the position in which they should have not choose the present life condition that we see, it means they understood God. Understanding God will bring you to fear Him. A person who said that he know God, he understand God, and do not fear God, I'm afraid to say, I am afraid to say, again, I will be afraid to say that he's not telling the truth. He does not know God. He does not understand God. Because if you know Him and you understand Him, you're going to fear Him. What I mean fear, I'm not talking about hiding. I'm talking about you will know the weight of sin. You will know the penalty behind sin. You will know the golden rule, the importance of the golden rule. Do not do into other what you don't want to be done into you. That's the law. That's the bondage of the Christianity. That's what makes everything. Everything that you're going to read in all books, the Bible that you're talking about, the 66 book combined, it is all about it. Do not do to other what you don't want to be done into you. It's simple. If everyone applied, life should have been very, very simple. If you knew that by doing something to somebody, the pain that will generate from it, you will not be able to assess such pain. If that person was you, it should become a barrier for you to do such a thing. But if you don't think that way, it means you're saying to your creator that I don't care. I am a supreme being. So I can do what I want to do. I am better than the person that I'm hurting. That's exactly what you're saying. You might not speak this way, but it's exactly what you mean when you do that. The law that control the cosmos is different from the law in which we humans live on. We live in a different kind of law. The law that generates from our constitution. The law that are man-made. You are interconnected into the divine force. You are interconnected with the cosmic intelligence. You are interconnected with the infinite intelligence. It is the same Spirit, Holy Spirit, that inspire those who wrote those holy books. The life that we are living here is completely different from the life above of your afterlife. There is a life after this life. If you want your soul to live in peace, to rest in peace, I suggest that you start doing good. I, Gabriel and Icon, I have repent everything that I've done into the nature, into the cosmos, into the person who uphold the key of the infinite intelligence, the cosmic intelligence, the divine intelligence, which is Elohim, the creator. I have built a good relationship with the supreme being, who is El Yahweh, the God, the Lord, the provider, the Lord, the healer, the Lord, the righteousness, the Lord of peace, the Lord who sanctify, who love and protect, who is the shepherd, who is with you every single time, and who is the source of everything. That's the second aspect and attribute of God, El Yahweh, and that is the attribute that Lucifer don't want to see. Yeah, he's the creator, but it doesn't have nothing to do with our decision here, because he created us so we can be free and make our own decision and even become like him. If you take El Yahweh out, pretty much you're saying that he created you and then you don't have anything else to do with him. He leave you alone. But if you don't know, if you believe that there's maybe a different place you will go after this life, or either you don't believe that there is even a place after this life, maybe you do believe, but you think that maybe by burning your body you will not go there. It is a mistake. You cannot destroy your soul. You cannot erase things that you have done. It's recorded. I just told you that the heavens are like satellite. You know what the satellite duty is, right? Is to record everything that goes on here on earth. That was made by man, not by God. Now God's place is the global, is the cosmic, is the universal, if I want to say, because it's part of the universe. It's the universal satellite. It sees everything that goes on in all cosmic dimension, in a microscopic fashion. Like what happened to that plane, God already knows. If you have access to heaven, they'll show it to you in a 7-dimensional TV screen exactly what happened. They're even going to show it to you where every single person is. They'll show it to you what happened, exactly what happened. They don't have to speculate or procrastinate. They are the universal satellite. So if you are there thinking that you are having red carpet here, and when you die and go to the next life, the red carpet will be waiting for you, you might be very disappointed. Because instead of the red carpet, with all the respect I have for all of you, you might have a different response. And I don't want you to start hating God, because I'm speaking now when you still have opportunity to transform your life. You still have opportunity to change your life. Your title, your honor, your money will not go with you. What will go with you will be your thought, your mantle, everything that you have done, good and bad. Not your dirty clothes, not your good clothes, not your pretty bed. It will be your mind and your thought. If you can only think of it, just remember you're sitting down now, you're making millions of dollars, you're giving order. Sometimes you sit like that and start remembering stuff that happened to you when you were little kids. Just remember that. Or when you didn't have none, or when you were suffering, or sometimes when you were doing something that was not good. It's the same thing that you're going to carry with you if you're taught. It seems very miserable, but that's the truth. My dear friend, it is time for people to start doing good. We are all interconnected. If you do wrong to someone, you are not only affecting yourself, but you're affecting other people. When you think wrong of someone, you're not only destroying yourself, but you're destroying the other person. Jealousy, anger, envy are form of poisons. It's like you drinking poison and you're expecting the other person to die in your place. That will not happen, right? You will be the one afflicting yourself, inputting wound into you without knowing. We have to work together as a team, come together as a unified spiritual family to go against the evil force. Lucifer is awaiting you to separate yourself from Jesus Christ and God in order for him to come through. And when he come through, he know he have the terrain to do whatever he want to do. I want people to speak to leaders, to the popes, to those two popes, recent pope. The fear of God. When the Pope itself said, "Who I am to judge them?" He's the Pope. But he said, "Who I am to judge people." What he was referring, because he know the truth. He have a position, but that position don't make him superior to other people in God's eyes. In regard to existence as a human. Because when God warned you once, twice, you might not have the chance the third time. And I want those leaders to really listen to what that Pope just said, to what that Pope is talking about, because he knows God, he understands God, and he fears God. If you are there thinking that what you're doing make one step forward, you don't fear God, that God will reserve the same kind of condition you had when you were on earth, you'll be extremely, I say again, extremely disappointed. You can have a humanistic earning of scale 0 to 1 of scale 10, but you have a spiritual earning of 0. And I want you to start counting like that. What is my spiritual earning? If you don't see anything there, you probably need to start working on it before it's too late. And do not waste your time. Start thinking when Jesus Christ returns. Your judgment will not wait when Jesus Christ returns. Your judgment will be right away. The return thing is the end game. But if you leave this earth today, you have to worry where you're going to be. Because you people might be thinking that you're in heaven when actually you're screaming in a fire of hell. And I want to make sure that I got people know here. Everyone will have eternal life. Everyone. The soul don't have a mortal life. The soul is eternal. The question is, where would be your life in that eternity? Hell or heaven? And I want people to really make that precise, make that concise, make that clear, that everyone will get an eternal life. You're going to spend your eternity in hell, or you're going to spend your eternity in heaven. It's up to you. I'm speaking about that today because I have seen it. I've seen people that you believe they are in heaven, but they're actually screaming and crying in hell. You better put your act together, my friend. I don't care what position you have here in this earth. It doesn't matter in the eyes of God. If God can see a star like a dot from his chair, you must start asking questions how significant you are. If you want to compare yourself to your position here on earth. It's just me passing the message. I didn't create none. I'm just a passenger of messages. I don't want people to get offended out there. Who do you think he is? He start talking stuff. Well, I hope that you say the same thing to John, Mark, Matthew, and Luke, the Bible that you're reading, which is actually below your pillow. Who they think they are when they start writing this book that I read and try to understand. Because the same thing that I'm doing. Just different time. So if you start judging me, what makes you different from those Romans? Oh yeah, they were very sad people. But you're doing the same thing. You think that there were a mark on John saying that what we know today of him? No, he was a simple person like I am right now, talking. And people will listen to him. Okay, alright. Okay. I want to tell you, even even when Jesus Christ was doing all the miracle, those apostle and disciple were like, okay, good. But when he got arrested, they start questioning personally if he was really who he thought he was. Because there's no reason why he's gonna say he's the son of God and God is not coming up to help him. They didn't comprehend it. They start running away from him when he got arrested. Because they didn't know if he fooled them or not. Even though they did all those miracles, but at a certain point they start saying maybe he was using mystic for demon to do that, because we're not seeing God here appearing try to help him. I didn't understood Paul. So convinced that was a scam, he start going after everybody who claimed to be a Christian. And what God did to him, Jesus Christ did to him, tried to continue his campaign. Right? Jesus Christ appeared to him. He was the only one who saw him. And they put him blind for just to let him know. And they have a purpose for him, and he became one of the best preacher evangelists of the word of Jesus Christ. So that's the message for folks out there. Save your soul. Those people out there who are going after the money, who have the money, who are neglecting simple contact, who are neglecting collaboration and communication. God can use many means to come in touch with you. He can use many means to contact you. He can actually use a mean to somebody in the street. He can be full on somebody in the street, like completely. If somebody in the street is within that person, omnipotent. If you can only touch that person and have the blessing, receive the blessing, full of God. If you put your mind on somebody else's shoes, if you can only understand somebody else's shoes for a couple seconds, if that was me, if that was somebody that I love, if that was a loved one, what should I do? What action should I be taking? If you can make that assumption, you come up with a better, efficient, and effective solution into the matter. But if you cannot do that, your solution will be incomplete. God have existed before the creation of the cosmos, because heaven was already made in that cosmic dimension. And he's the one who triggered the initiation of the originality of the starting point that enhance the formations, the inflammation, the regeneration, the exponential duplication of the actual cosmos that we have. So if that cosmos existed billion of years ago, it means God have existed long before those billion years. So if somebody out there do not fear that God, because you have $1 billion in your bank account, or because God have not done anything to you, you have $0 in your bank account, or because God have done a lot of it, not too much, better, and you have something in between, and you think that you don't give any attention. I just want you to realize why people that have the wisdom, it means they have used equality to apply the knowledge, try to save their soul, than try to live a better life here on earth. Go and ask to the Pope what happened in this recent time in Rome. They'll tell you. They'll give you some wisdom. They'll give you some advice, because they know heaven exists. They know hell exists. When you leave this dimension, there's only two options. Your thought, your mind is not matter anymore. You don't decide where you have to go. You don't decide what you want to do. You don't have an option of no or yes. You follow instruction. After this life, it means you're going to hell or you're going to heaven. If you're going to heaven, this is what you have to do. If you're going to hell, this is what you're going to be doing. You follow instruction. It will be simple. You will be like, yeah, I am. Oh, well, I came from a big family. I had 10 bodyguard. I was nothing on earth. I was eating in a garbage can. That's the reason why I did that. Well, I didn't have a choice. They will prove you that you have a lot of time to make the right choice. They will prove you that you have many options of changing your life. They will prove you that you have a lot of time, within that lot of time that you have, to transform your life completely. They will prove you that. So the point here is not about being a sinful person or being a person who make a lot of mistakes, because mistake must exist for people to learn and nurture themselves. Mistakes actually are the trigger of infinite potential discovery within. If you don't make any mistake, you will not learn and you will not be able to discover many unknown. The unknown is the most fearful part of our life. But when you win the unknown, you win it all. Because men are more fearful of the unknown. Every man, either rich or poor, it doesn't matter. Every man in this earth are fearful of the unknown. The uncertainty. But you're going to look around and start thinking that you can look and you can see a future. You can see a brighter future. You can see something good coming. You look up and say, everything that I have, I was not able to find happiness. There's something missing within me. There's something that I need. Either you practice Hinduism, either you practice Buddhism, either you practice Judaism, either you practice Christianity or Islam. God is the main actor in all of that. Let me dissect and stratify my explanation. After the Ark of Noah, the movie that's coming on March 31st, God decided to create region. He decided to create tribe because he understood people were not willing to live in unity and peace. So religion start evolving, and every religion that was created were based on a culture that are bounded to those specific individual. If you look Hinduism that existed long time is one of the earliest religion beside Judaism. It is linked to a culture, the way that people live, the way that they understand the tradition. That's where. So they use it. But those who use the forces of the nature positively are using those forces through the standard principle and law of cosmos that are controlled by God, by the Trinity. Buddhism rise from Hinduism. The person, Buddha, who created the original Buddhism was raised in a Hindu family, and he came up with his own understanding of the nature and create Buddhism. They have similarity, but there's a lot of bit of differences. But even though there's differences, those who use the cosmic law in the appropriate fashion, using God's standard, principle, and law, do not do to other people what you don't want to be done into you. They are within the verge of God's standard, principle, and laws. Because all those cosmic force that they use is under control by God. When you are in Hinduism or Buddhism, you start using those energy and you reach a certain level, you're going to reach certain entity over there going to tell you exactly who you are and where is your limit. Now, if you go with Judaism was also a religion that was created based on the culture of the Jew. Is bounded into the originality. If you look even Islam, it's the same thing. So Christianity came more as a unifier. It's not pretty much like a culture, but it is a diplomatic religion, a religion of philosophy and intellect and love, and pretty much not as a cult, not as a cultural thing. That's where Christianity came in place. That everyone, either you are Hinduism, or either you practice Buddhism, or either you practice Islam, or either you practice Judaism, you can be a Christian easily. But reading the Bible itself is not all. Going to church itself is not all. If you are going to church and believe that God will save you, or God will, everything you do, you're better than everyone out there on the street because you're going to church every day, you have to revise your approach again. Church is important, but it is not all. You have to be able to build a personal relationship with the Trinity, with God, your Creator. You have to be able to build that relationship. You ask God to transform your life and to live within you, which is the difficult part of everything. Because Lucifer cannot ask God to transform his life, live within him, because he knows he will not be able to do anything. So those are kind of people who come and make lies, try to speak good. I have changed my life, I have done this, but they can't say I have asked life to clean my heart. Like David said, clean my heart and those of my enemies, so that they can know the truth and be new once again. So it is important to understand those little principles that we have around. You cannot possibly believe that, you know, I am very concerned about people's soul. In today's world, people don't care, and that's the reason why we have many people leaning into hell, and they start asking the question, the reason why they're there. Because we're living in a world today where money is everything, where success is everything, where a big job mean God live in your house. I don't know who inform people like that. You open your holy book and you tell me that because you have a big job, or because you have a good salary, or because you have a good family, God live in your closet. I mean, you open your closet. How you doing, God? I want more. Please, if somebody have something like that, inform people around the world. Maybe the Vatican might need you to rent that closet. There is no correlation like that. There is not an equation, a linear equation like that. But what I can tell you is that if you clean your heart and be a good person, even through suffering, your heart is clean and good. Through your prayer, you rise into heaven without even knowing it. You give without thinking. You give for the well-being of people. You make decisions based on how other people will profit out of it, not how I will profit out of it. Out of this. That's doing good. And so you will be compensated by the heaven above. You believe, like I was always told, And many Christians might be thinking like that. Many believers might be thinking like that. That you sin, do a lot of bad thing, and at the end you're gonna say, God, I repent myself, please save me, please Lord, I have repented, I am good now. At the end of your time, and everything will all be fine right away. Let me explain to you, let me dissect that portion. Yes, everything might be good for you, but it will not be as perfect as if you have done good all the way. Remember, yes, everything might be good, but it will not be good as if you have done well all the way. It means you might be saved, you might be shamefully saved, but you might not have a lot of spiritual wealth as you should have had if you have done well. It means you will lose a lot of establishment that God should have made for you over there. You will have unfinished project, pretty much unfinished project that will be given to somebody else who will do good here on earth. Yes, you will be saved, but you will be shamefully saved. That's how they call it over there in heaven. It means you do bad thing, and the end of time you're gonna say, okay, now let me repent very quick. I've done bad. Maybe that's why many people think that, at the end of the time they're gonna say, okay, now let me repent very quick. You don't play. You play with yourself. You don't. You can play with God doing that kind of stuff. Pretty much in that movie, you're doing it by yourself. God is not there because He's watching you. They're watching you, and they kind of distancing themselves away from you doing that. So if you are there thinking that you will do what you gotta do every single day until the end of your time, and you will go and live in a mosque, or go and live in a church, or go and live in a holy place, and pray every single day before your time comes so that you can be saved. Yes, you might be, but it will not be the way you think, because the universe record everything. They will wait everything when they'll be judging you. And if the balance go a different way, you might be saved shamefully. You might not even be saved shamefully, but you probably don't gonna have everything that you're supposed to have if you have done well, if you have done good. You're gonna have. And you're gonna have to live with that decision for all your eternity over there. With all your eternity. And they will tell you there, you have not done good on earth. You even have to be happy that we're giving you those filthy clothes that you're wearing. And because it's better than hell, I believe you can trust us, right? So go over there and stay there. That's the way they're gonna tell you. Over there, they don't play the way they show us you read in the Bible. Is a lot of people polite. They are straightforward because they want the good of people. They are straightforward, and it's not a game over there. We here doing stuff thinking it's cool. The Bible, God is all good, love, and all this. Yes, He is. But it's also a judge. You will not let things happen just happen and say because I'm loved so everything gonna be fine. So let it be. You know. Or he gonna make sure that there's a balance. He gonna make sure there's a balance. Our environment. God created the environment prior inputting human being as part of his plan. The plan that he put in place, the humankind plan, project, that generated a lot of problems that we have today. The human project is the source of many of the problems that we have. If God have decided not to create human, maybe heavens and all the Luciferian people, they probably should have been very peaceful. Because God decided he wanted to create the humankind, we become the problems. Of all problems, of eternal problems. And that's the reason why we're going to be part of this until God decide to end it. That's it. Oh, you know, why do I have to care about this? You care about nothing. What do I have to care about? Care about this. I live well. I have what I need. I'll be asking you the same question in 25 years or 30 or 50 years from now. Maybe you're probably going to reverse your question. I should have cared about this. Okay. And a lot of us going to say it's a little late now. But maybe there's still a lot of time. So we have to protect our environment. Our environment, from climate change, global warming. Global warming is an increase of the temperature that are accumulated within the planet zone. That's what it is. So that increase in temperature that lie within the planet zone, Earth, create a lot of problems, create a lot of rain in many places around the world, increased temperatures in many different regions, global wise, tsunami, and people have to be affected. Increased disease, infectious disease in certain regions around the world, tropical zones. So the increase in temperature and the increase of disease are correlated. There's relations. Carbon emission, even by deforestation. That's something that many people don't know. deforestation not only unbalance the carbon oxygen cycle, but as well as it does release extra carbon in the environment that will increase the global warming. Because when you cut trees, what happens is trees use carbon dioxide to produce, they lift and release oxygen. But they are also accumulators of carbon dioxide, reserve of carbon dioxide. So when you cut those trees, when you deforest those trees, those areas and region, that carbon dioxide stored in those trees are released. They are released. And when they are released, they will go into the environment in four different forms. In liquid form, in gas form, which is CO2, in liquid form, in water, you're going to have organic carbon material in water, ice, bicarbonate, rocks, and biomass. You're going to have those forms. So it is important for scientists and environmentalists to work together and try to make sure that the environment is protected. Because that unbalance generate problems. Global warming is an increase in oxygen temperature that are generated within the Earth system and stay within the Earth system. It doesn't dissipate somewhere else. So if it stay within the Earth system, that increase in temperature, you're going to have ice melting. If ice are melting in the Arctic zone, polar zone, which is Antarctic and Arctic, North and South Pole, you're going to have an increase in sea level. And that increase will also generate more heat in certain area, and more heat mean more evaporation of more water, and more evaporation of more water will mean more precipitation in those regions, or any region surrounding the area based on the wind that goes around the ozones. And create dangerous situations. Increase in temperature in region, which will increase the number of infectious disease, which will impact the health of people around the world. We have to follow the example put in place when God created earth. He created earth with the temperature in place, better environment, better ecosystem with the complete forestation animals before he created man. So why go with deforestation and all this stuff without putting plant? We also have to control carbon emission, not only from car, but also from creating fuels, burning gas, burning natural oil, burning coal. Those action generate carbon dioxide, more carbon dioxide that evaporate. In tons, you're talking about tons. Tons in our atmospheric zone. That would increase the temperature within our Earth system. Which will impact the climate, and that action will bring a change in our climate. In many areas and regions around the world. There's then a correlation between that, the exposure to environmental chemicals and toxins, as well as occupational exposure. So it is crucial to make sure that the body is living in a healthy living and working condition. Which involve reassuring that the environment is safe from toxins. What makes your body sick is not your mind. What makes your body sick is not what food you eat. But what makes your body sick is the toxins that you input into your system. Pretty much it is about the quality of what you eat. So if you have toxin in your body, the toxins will go into your liver, because the liver, it is the main processors of everything that you digest in your digestive system, and the toxins extract the blood coming from the nutrients that you eat from your food, from your digestive tract. And that blood coming, that blood includes the nutrients, the toxins, everything. So what do the liver does? The liver start selecting and filtering that nutritious blood that came from your digestive tract. If it does identify toxins going into your body, the fat cell and the blood vessel of your liver will start releasing C-reactive proteins, identifying each single toxins. And those C-reactive proteins that come from the blood cells already send a signal into your brain, and your brain send back a receiver through the transmitters of the RNA, the ribonucleic acid, and those will actually enhance the productions of the C-reactive proteins, and the C-reactive proteins now would go along and give a signal to the white cell blood, so that those white cell blood can come out and start fighting the toxins and start reducing the amount of toxin in your body, so that the inflammation can be reduced. It is the way it functions. Now you can take extra supplements to fight the inflammations. It means to help the C-reactive proteins. It means to help the white cell blood to fight the toxins, the invaders, the aliens. It is the same thing with your pancreas. If your pancreas, which is composed of cells, if the pancreas is affected, it will not release, it will not balance your blood sugar accordingly. If it does not release more insulin, you will have more. If it does not release the correct amount of insulin, you will have more glucose, sugar in your blood, which will make you hyperglycemic, in which you might need some external insulin injection in order for you to find the right amount to reduce that glucose or blood sugar in your body and send it to the appropriate places in your body. That might be a genetic or organic problem, if indeed it's not a temporary toxins invasion. Now, if your insulin release more, if your pancreas release more insulin, you might not have enough sugar in your blood that can be used. If it does release more insulin, if it does release, those insulin will be overcoming the blood sugar and start eating it, whatever, taking it and sending it to the appropriate place in your body. You don't have a lot of the correct amount of sugar in your blood, and if you don't, what will happen is you're going to need a glucagon to balance your blood sugar, or something that have a lot of sugar to balance it. So your body is important for people to seize such opportunity. Well, it's just the way it is. So we have to work together. My phone is open. And I'm not asking people to call me for stuff that don't progress anybody. When I say my phone is open, it's because people have to call me for right thing. I have the gift that was given to me from above to pray for soul. People might say I have a lost soul. I don't. You have to make a difference between isolations and being try to live alone, a life of wisdom. Because if it was the case, people who have all out there should not be taking their own life. If it was the way you're thinking, happiness, it is a systematic approach in which a person is in a satisfactory position regardless situation he's facing. You can't have everything but do not have you can have all the material, all the thing, but do not have the happiness. So at the end, having everything become a state of mind, because what is something for you might not be something for somebody else. What is important for you might not be important for somebody else. So at the end, happiness become a state of mind. Somebody can have the basics of what he have, but he have what I call his mental health. And with his mental health, you cannot beat him. There are many people out there who have called everything, but they don't have a good mental health. And they need people like us to lead them into into the path of heaven, so we can pray for them, and their prayer can go farther very quick, access heaven right away. You never have this story where when Elijah pray, his prayer went there, they know it's him, his prayer is coming, so they prioritize his prayer very quick. What happened if you were a friend with Elijah? You'll be very happy, because most of the prayer that he's gonna do on your behalf will be prioritized. So there are certain people like that. It's not about the money, it's not about the name, it's not about the reputation, it's not about the celebrity status. Nah. Yeah, they don't really look stuff like that. They look you like they look everybody else. I am okay. So it's a very important point. It's a very important point that people start working with other people, start contacting other people, working together to form something bigger, because unity is powerful than what people think. Through a simple prayer, the soul of many people can be saved. There are wise people out there who knows that. They're begging for aspirational soul. looking for someone who can link the prayer very faster, because they have a weak soul. Standing, big bank, big name, big car, big house do not mean healthy spirit, do not mean healthy soul. They might need people like the pity one who have forged his spiritual wealth, and that spiritual wealth might be costly more than $1 billion that you have in your bank account, that you only need that person to link you. You'll be amazed how high function over there in heaven, that you'll be very amazed. That many people do not know that a lot of person who have given all his hope into the world above are the one who are granted access into the door of heaven, and the one who have given all his hope to his bank account was granted limited access, because he said, I cannot live without my bank account. He said, I cannot live without looking my numbers. And the one who don't have none have said, I can live without all of this stuff, because I believe in one creator. I believe in one single person that can save me moving forward. If you are there, my dear friend, and do not believe that there's a creator, because you believe you have a brain, because you believe in a metaphoric way that you can become God, I want you to know you have to think twice. If that God have existed, if that being have existed more than 15 or 14 billion years ago, and live in a different cosmic dimension that do not depend on the mechanism and structure of our actual cosmic dimension, you need to start asking the question, with whom are we dealing with? Because the Bible has made that being look like one of us. No, the Bible has made him the God of love, the healer, the shepherd, the protector. But he is the creator. He's bigger than what you guys thinking. But I'm asking you to find your way. I'm asking you to save your soul. You can be crushed physically, but if you have a saving soul, you have won. But if you're not crushed physically and your soul is crushed, you have an eternal problem. And I believe you know what eternal means. It means infinite. A physical problem is temporary, but an eternal problem is infinite. You choose. I'm pretty sure you know what those two words mean. Infinite mean will never stop. Temporary mean it will stop one day. Let me translate that. The joy that you have at this point will stop one day. But your eternal life of after this one will never stop. If you're wise enough, I can advise you to start sending your red carpet over there so that I can start waiting for your incoming. Maybe if you know the path, you need to start informing people. But if you know for sure that you don't know how to get a red carpet in that other side, or get a bank account that will have the same amount for money that you have, or you just don't give it them because God have never done anything to you. You have a $0, but right away you even overgraph at this moment that I'm talking. So who's that God? Screw him. Screw him. He's alright. If you can be strong enough to live the same miserable life in hell, I can promise you it will be worse than the one that you're living today here. Because not only you will not be breathing accordingly as the free air that God gave you here in this physical earth, you'll be burning and asking for water and none for eternity. So you choose. Do this life that God is putting you in maybe was better than the one that you are choosing indirectly, or you might consider maybe a better, say, better the life I have today. But always remember, for every situation that you derive, there's always a situation that is worse somewhere in this world. Your situation will never gonna be the worst situation of all time. There's always someone who will have the most worst situation than you. If you can only think about it, I'm pretty sure you're gonna make the right decision. You will cease the self-killings that people are killing themselves. Because when you stay like that and say, hey, look, there's somebody out there who don't even have what I have. There's somebody out there who don't even who suffer more than I suffer at this point. So what the heck do I blame myself for? It will solve a lot of problems. I am asking to people to stop using God's word to fill their pocket with money. They will regret it. You will wear your filthy clothes if you're shamefully accepted in heaven. You will live in community house with nothing. I'm telling you the truth. If you're not lucky, you're gonna go and you'll be burning in hell, in the cells. So I'm telling you that it's time for you to change your life. I'm advising you, it's time for you to change your life and start living like the Pope. we were wise enough to understand it. If you think that he's doing it because he wanted to show that he's a very simple person, no. Let me tell you the truth. He's doing it because he knows the truth. And he is building the path to have a peaceful transition to the next life. But he cannot come publicly and say it. But I'm telling you exactly what he's doing. So maybe you might learn from it. If you think he want to show how simple it is, yes, he might be, but that's not actually the truth behind it. The truth is he's saving his soul. So saviors, those red carpet, those glorification from people, think about it again. For 1 second you don't say in your mind that God, this is for you, not for me. Remember, you are dooming yourself into hell every single day. This is the wisdom I'm giving you. It's up to you to listen to it, or it's up to you to say, good hell, I have $1 million. What do you have? In 50 years, I will answer I'll answer to that statement. 50 years from now, I'm pretty sure a lot of us will be gone. And maybe we will meet each other in the other end. And I'll answer that question. And I'm gonna say, I don't need you, I don't need you, I don't need you, I don't need you, but I want you. You know, it's like somebody was like, I really hate this guy, but I really love this guy from inside. But really, I love him, but I just want to change him the way I'm thinking. I don't need you, I don't need you, I don't need you, I don't need you, but I want you. What do that mean? How do somebody don't need you but the person wants you? It's that the person is telling, please change your way, the way will make me happy. I call it the feminist approach. That's what I call it. How come you don't need someone but you want him? You have to think again about this. I am talking a lot about soul, because there are many losing soul out there. People are standing, they're walking those red carpet, but their soul is not there. You can make fun of me and say where my soul is. I can promise you today, my soul is heading into heaven. Because as I speak, I just visited the place. And there's no reason why I can visit the place if my name is not already written there. So it's up to you to start looking for your eternal life. You can do all the glorification here on earth. You can have everything you want. But when you're gone, it will be history. The Egyptians have built a pyramid. There was, it's gone. You'll be burning in hell, and no one will really remember you for sure, other than thinking about themselves. Repetitive, right? Let's pray a little bit about him. He did good for us. Hey, come on. And after that day, everybody move on to their own business, forgetting. Sometime you even gonna go and that's it. Ye have existed. So why not build a better life in which you know for sure that you will satisfy your inner self and clean your heart, so you know that even if people are not satisfied on earth, at least you have your eternal life in heaven. And those who are going to go to hell will start looking you up and say, ah, deeply, I was wrong about this guy. Because there's no way I was right and this guy is in heaven and I am in hell. So you have to recall that. You have to remember that. You have to remember that, my friend. I am doing my part. You will not say that you have not heard. You will not say that you have not comprehended my approach. Because I have elaborated, I have illustrated all my statement in a very comprehensible manner. I have clarified my illustration, my elaboration in a more efficient and effective fashion. I have been disseminating my messages in a way it can even be comprehended by everyone. Then it is better to say my ego refuses to accept that, because I do believe I'm better than this guy who's talking. Now I'm gonna understand you. Hey, don't come and say, I don't know what he's talking about. I don't even comprehend what he's talking about now. What was he saying? This is America. We don't think like that here. Those are thoughts that we don't comprehend here. No. What I'm talking here don't have nothing to do with any specific region or place in the world. It is a global concern. There is one word called Earth. One Earth. And this Earth, you have continents in which your continent is part of, in which you live in. So you're part of the global world. So you be judged. What I'm saying here will concern you. So it's important. The point is not about opening the Bible and reading in the Bible. Let me repeat it again. The problem is not, the point is not about opening the Bible and reading the Bible and try to show people that you have it. The point is applying what you know is the truth. Do not do to other people what you don't want to be done into you. I don't care if you carry the Bible with you in your head and you want people to know it. If you don't apply that statement, forget about it. You're wasting your time. I don't care if you build your house with Bibles. If you don't apply, do not do to other people what you don't want to be done into you. Realize you're wasting your time. If you sit out there thinking I have a right to hate, I have a right not to have compassion, I have the right to be anger, I have the right to reject, I have a right to not have inclusion. No, you are not following God, principle, standard, and law. He's not the God of division, he's the God of unification. Different from distancing yourself from people who don't want your well-being. People have a choice. Like I have a choice. I have many letters over here that are sent by friends, by people who want my well-being. I don't go out there and looking for friendship, because, sorry, I am the only one who knows exactly what I need. No one else. You are the only one who knows exactly what you need. No one else. It's very simple. So, I would like to make sure that I'm well understood here. I've spoken a lot before too long. Now it's time for me to close this this presentation. But I want to make sure that at least somebody have followed. At least somebody have followed what I said. I just have a good regurgitation because I ate and I've spoken too long, which is fine, which is also healthy. There's many ways a person can release waste out of his body to many procedures that are known by all of us. So it is biological, it is physiological, it's anatomical, so it is normal. Then, moving forward, everyone can reach me at any level. You can reach me at using my website www.njohmadefoundit.org. You can reach me at Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, iReports, and many other social media out there. The point that we must know is not about disrespecting the law. You have to respect the law of your land because it brings peace, it brings respect among people that are positioned the authority to function the government. But it is also good for everyone to follow the same law. God would not violate his own law. If God said do not do to other people what you don't want to be done into you, he will make sure that he does not do to you what he doesn't want to be done into him. Despite the fact that Everyone is responsible for the causality that are created by the reality that he made. In which he will be used to judge you. God is a God of all. He's a God of everyone. But if you stay tenacious and persevere, you will excel. You will not excel in one day. You will not excel in 2 days. Maybe in 3 days. But it will be one day. There is no way you will give your life into the person who created you and he leave you and forsake you. God have never said that he will never gonna give you the desire of your heart. It is written in the Bible that you're reading that God will give you the desire of your heart if you give your life into him, if you give your battle into him, if you give your stress and your uncertainty into him. He will compensate you by giving you the desire of your heart. He have never said that you cannot live a happy life on earth, but instead have a clean heart, good heart, even to endurance. Maintain your good heart and pray and give your heart into him, your concern into him, and may you will feel a more glorifying life here on earth. Then that's the reason why I'm saying to folks, glorify God before yourself. Glorify your money that you have. After you have glorified God. Glorify the red carpet after you have glorified God. Do not reject God because you're poor. Do not reject God because you don't have nothing. Do not reject God because you think you don't have nothing. People believe I don't have nothing. I look at them and smile back and laugh. I have what I need. I have stuff that many people don't have. They have stuff that I don't have. That's how life is. That's how life's supposed to be. I have my education, which is more important to me than anything. I don't know if people was thinking I have to have million for them to have something. They are leaders that at my age didn't have anything. There are many leaders today that at the age of 35 they didn't have millions of dollars. They didn't have what they have today. So when I see people out there thinking, you cannot come and talk to somebody who have a master in biostatistics and walk into a professional doctorate and pretty much will be attacking a second one that he doesn't have nothing. It means there's something that you're not understanding. The difference between the rich and the poor is not about the material. It's about knowledge. The rich became rich because they have implemented the knowledge well, with quality and efficiency, and it gave them effective answer. The poor became and remained poor because they made poor choices. It's simple as that. If you stay there and keep thinking that somebody need to have this and this before you can glorify him, without thinking that yourself you can also become that if you apply your knowledge accordingly, it means that you're missing something. You're missing something big. The rich, many rich here were not born rich. They are born like you. Pretty much yesterday they were like you. They use their brain right. They apply the knowledge in the right place. They find the inner self and the inner potential, and they put it in practice. And they became who they are today that you admire. If you want to stay where you are, you can continue to think the way you're thinking, and you stay like that for a very long time. Yes. As I do. Bill Gates resigned from IBM. Pretty much in that time he resigned, he didn't have any employment. He focused himself and developed a software who made him one of the most richest person in this world. Steve Jobs did the same thing. You tell me. In life, sometimes you have to decide. Either you work for someone or you take your challenges to derive your inner potential, discover your God-given potential, implement, polish it, and use it for the benefit of the universe. Either you comprehend it, or either you still have a lot to learn. Life is not the way you think. There are time you work for someone, there are time for you to be an employer for someone. Circumstances of life might be bringing you to that. Do not look the moment, do not look a particular instant and derive the life of the person. A particular moment of a person do not determine success. Like a wise man say, it's not about starting right, but it is about finishing well. Remember this statement. It is not about starting right. It is about finishing well. And remember this last statement of me. Regardless who you are, the Pope, the President, or star who have billion or whatever, people recognize here. When you are received in heaven as somebody who was accepted, but this is something that will tell you good finish. They don't gonna say to you good start. They'll say to you good finish. So in life, it's not about how you start or how well you're doing. It's about how well you finish. And I'm waiting people at the end of the line. And I ask them a question. Who is nothing here? And I want them to answer. Without further ado, I would like to close this presentation today. And I hope that we have learned a lesson. And I hope that we all have learned something here and comprehending the insufficiency of all of us in terms with respect to God. We are important to God, but we are not sufficient without Him. As far as God is concerned, we are all sinners, saved by grace. As far as God is concerned, we are all sinners, saved by grace. Without further ado, thank you very much. I would like to give blessing to everyone who have listened to my presentation, and hope that you have listened to everything. Whatever disagreement you might have, it is still learning purpose. Either you agree or not, it's something that you have learned. We are all learning every single day. May God bless us all. For peace. Auf Wiedersehen, muchacho, au revoir, and goodbye. Et à plus. On se reverra la semaine prochaine. As long as God give me the strength and health and wisdom. Muchacho.